Welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Thank you so much for being here. It's amazing how a little booze can pack a room. Thank you so much for having everyone here. To get us started, it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. John Barnett, President of Barnett Dental Group, for the invocation, followed by the national anthem by our very own Henry Borbola, Senior Vice President of Sierra Bank. Dr. Barnett.
This is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. I thank you, Father God, for the gathering of this exceptional group of people designated as the Fort Worth Rotary. I thank you for their spirits. I thank you for their inclination to be open to what you have put in our hearts to do. Thank you for a wonderful year with its challenges. We have overcome, and we've gone stronger and better, grown stronger and better because of it. Continue to be with us, continue to open us up, continue to let us see new vistas of opportunity and challenges that are possible if we will only believe. We thank you, Father God, for the abiding presence of your Holy Spirit this day. Let it join us together. Let us fellowship in a way that we never have before. The future is bright and we embrace it. It is all within you that we believe. These are our petitions. These are our supplications. We ask them in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. As many of you know, it has been a tradition this year to recite the four-way test that is the hallmark of what we believe, what we think, say, or do. If you will say with me, number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number four, will be beneficial to all concerned. Now, I have to tell you, my wife surprised me with something today, and she had a few special guests come. I didn't know that they were coming, but I'd like to introduce them one by one. My father, Carl Capua Sr., my mother-in-law, well, now we have to applaud for every one of them, one by one. My mother-in-law, Catherine Benavides. My brother-in-law, Brandon Teague. My sister, Maria Capua. My mother, Janet Z. Capua. And my wife, Dr. Rachel Capua. Thank you. That means so much to me, Rachel. Thank you, and thank you to my family for coming. If there are any other visiting Rotarians and guests, would you please stand so we can recognize you for being here today? Any other visitors or visiting guests, Rotarians? Thank you. Thank you. Special thanks. We have Tax Assessor Collector Wendy Burgess, and we have District Governor Roger Pascal. Thank you both for being here. Thank you very much. So meaningful to have all of you here. It is now my pleasure, as we keep going, to introduce President-elect Courtney Lewis. Actually, no, let's do this. Let's thank our sponsors right now, because that's important. We'd like to thank two sponsors today, Telschow Johnson Law. They protect the legacy of your family through estate planning, advanced care planning, probate, and elder law. They help you prepare for tomorrow by giving you peace of mind today. Thank you to Rotarian Karen Telschow Johnson. Karen, thank you so much. We also have Canty Hanger LLP, a full-service law firm in downtown Fort Worth. They've been around for 140 years, an office with 60 lawyers in Fort Worth, Dallas, and Austin. Thank you to Rotarian Mary Barkley. Where's Mary? Thank you to Mary Barkley. Thank you for your sponsorship. Now it's my pleasure to welcome President-elect Courtney Lewis, Senior Vice President of Bancorp South, for 2 first readings and 4 second readings and votes. Courtney?
Okay, so today we have 2 first readings. Samantha Renz, classification Civil Engineering, title CEO, company Evolving Texas, and proposer is Michelle Krim. Second reading, Jared Williams, classification Education, title Regional Director, Tarrant County, company Leadership ISD, proposer Blake Mormon. If no written objection is received in the Rotary office by the next meeting, Friday, July 9th, these proposals will be given at second readings and voted on by the club. All right, we also have 4 second readings today. The following proposed new members were submitted during the June 4th and June 18th programs. If no objections are received through the voting process, then the proposed member will be accepted into our club. First, Patrick Newman, classification Municipal Government, title President and CEO, company Botanic Research Institute of Texas, BRIT, proposer Bob Mitchell. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
We have a motion. Is there a second? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes both in person and online. Back to you, Courtney.
Right, next, we have Janet Hahn, classification, law practice, title, shareholder attorney, company, Decker Jones PC, proposer, Courtney Lewis. I move her election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
We have a motion. Is there a second? All in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, passes in person and online. Back to you, Courtney.
Good. Third, we have William M. Johnson, classification, municipal government, title, Director of Transportation and Public Works, company, City of Fort Worth, proposer Ty Stimson. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
There's a motion. Is there a second? All in favor? Motion passes.
Okay. Next, we have Jeffrey Postel, classification, general contracting, title, owner and CEO, company, Postel Group, proposer Bob Mitchell. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
Motion. Is there a second? All in favor? We're done. All right. Can't waste any time. So now it is my pleasure. Tom, if we can go to the next slide so I make sure we're on the right slide. It is my pleasure now to welcome Mr. Derek Moffitt. He's the principal for Moffitt Financial Strategies. We have a very exciting announcement for our International Services Committee. Derek.
Let me share a couple of numbers with you. The number 300, the number 19, the number 3, and the number 1. The number 300 are the number of families that the Refugee Services of Texas will help place here in Fort Worth in the next fiscal year. The number 19 is the number of years the average family has waited to get legal status to be able to come to the United States and resettle and begin a new life. The number 3 are the organizations involved that will help one family this year. The Outreach Committee, the Community Outreach Committee, the Rotary International Committee, has partnered with the TCU International Fellows and the Refugee Centers of Texas to welcome and sponsor one family coming here at the end of July, early August. And we'd like to ask you to help. We have agreed to help furnish a 3-bedroom apartment for this family, welcome them when they come to the airport, and help them settle in to their new home. On your table is a brochure that gives all the details. And since Carla reminded me I only have 2 minutes, and those were not Jim Austin minutes, that I must be quick and prompt. So this will give you details of what to do. You'll notice here how to donate. You can click the QR code or the URL link there online and be able to see a list to take you to Sign Up Genius. And we're going to donate things like towels and furnitures and cups and plates and all kinds of things there. We would love to have you help. We'll have an information table there at the back, and we'll make more announcements in the upcoming meetings. So thank you so much, and help us welcome the new family to Fort Worth.
Thank you. Thank you, Derek. Clocked in at 1:59. Well done. All right, a little background on today's program. You know, the last meeting of the year, for the past 17 years, the last meeting was known as the roast. And the current president essentially would get a good skewering and made fun of publicly for any mistakes they made during their term, especially up in front of the podium. But because of COVID-19, the four people who planned this program every year, they told me that they couldn't do it. On the screen, you can see past President J.R. Labby. She was too busy serving her patients at JPS. Past President Gary Cumby's dry cleaners closed. He couldn't rotate shirts. Attorney and past President Jim Whitten couldn't get the cat face off his profile. And past President Wayne Carson, he never comes anyway, so nothing lost there. So we had to say adios to this storied 17-year tradition. And sure, I was disappointed. I know, but I was disappointed, but I figured, you know, if they're too busy, I could come up with something on my own. I mean, think about it. I really didn't have any other challenges that I had to deal with. I mean, even now, I'm trying to think of a single thing that could have made this year very difficult for me, and I just can't imagine dealing with a global pandemic. But today we toast for achieving the impossible, because from a membership, from a financial, from a value-based perspective, our club has actually emerged from this pandemic stronger than we entered it. And we barely have enough time to cover what I'd like to cover today, but let's do the fun parts. So we're going to celebrate the year, we're going to recognize key people, and we're going to toast to President-elect Courtney Lewis as she begins her term on July the 1st. So today's first guest speaker I met when I was helping organize the Zoom on the district speech contest that was virtual this year. And these speeches, folks, were incredible. I mean, you had to see these students talk about very personal things. They were very vulnerable. They talked about drug abuse and mental health and being bullied. And imagine the guts it takes to get up in front of a group of strangers and literally be judged by sharing your personal challenges with the rest of the world. But it was a young man from Keller High School who absolutely captivated the audience with his speech. He is with us today to give his speech live to our club members. So please help me welcome from Keller High School this year's district speech champion, Britton Major.
Hi. First of all, thank you all so much for having me. This is an amazing opportunity that I never thought I would ever get. So let me start with that. I'd also like to thank my mom and my dad. They've helped me a lot throughout my life. So this speech is as much for them as it is for me. So I want to start with that. Oh, sports. I'll never forget my first time being in the huddle, arm in arm with my brethren as we listened to our coach give a speech of absolute inspiration. I'll never forget the man saying this: listen up. If you homos keep running around out there like you want the other team on top of you, there's no way we're gonna win this thing. To which all my teammates erupted in laughter, and to which I grew silent and ashamed. In the current climate surrounding athletics, discrimination against queer athletes remains at an all-time high. And as a gay player myself, I find it essential that we lace up our cleats and place this problem through the 4 ways test to see how discrimination against queer players must be addressed. As we take the field, we examine our first question: is it the truth? And according to a study conducted by Time magazine, 80% of all participants said they had witnessed or experienced homophobia in sports. Furthermore, executive acts such as House Bill 500 discriminate against queer players on a legal level by preventing transgender individuals from participating in the sports which match their gender identity. And if research statistics and government bills don't convince you this discrimination is real, take the case of Carl Nassib. As of 4 days ago, the NFL received its first openly queer player in the league, a feat which should have been met with celebration and praise. And instead, was met with backlash and hatred, displaying this discrimination is a true phenomenon. This leads me directly into the second point. Is it fair to all concerned? And discrimination against queer athletes in athletics leads both to the repression of one's uniqueness and the misrepresentation of the queer community in its entirety. According to The Guardian, 3 in 4 queer adolescents hid their sexualities due to fear. But when they do, we in turn push a heteronormative standard, painting athletics as a straight activity, and we stifle queer players in the process. But worst of all, we show young queer individuals they should be ashamed for simply being who they are. And not only is that outright inhumane, it is without a doubt unfair. This leads me directly into my third point of how the continuation of this prejudice will destroy any hope of goodwill and friendship. As we discussed, with the majority of queer players hiding their sexualities due to fear, but when they do, we in turn rob their heterosexual counterparts of an experience in which to better themselves. How can we expect athletics and the queer community to build positive bonds when the very discrimination forces the group to remain separate? Therefore, as long as this discrimination remains in the sports culture, there is no hope of building goodwill. And finally, we ask, is it beneficial to all? And this plague of discrimination is detrimental to everyone. I found that out when I moved up to varsity, entering the locker room with my head held high because I had earned my spot, but was in set 10 yards back as they told me, don't get me wrong, you're a great player, it's just we don't want the homo looking at us naked. I was set another 10 yards back as I stood there waiting for one of my teammates to speak up for me, but heard silence. And I was set another 10 yards back, knowing my coaches heard every word and did nothing. I was given penalty after penalty until I found myself in my own end zone on a 4th down, with no teammates, no timeouts, and nothing left to give. Because in the current climate of athletics, being queer is a setback. And this discrimination benefits no one. So let's head back to the locker rooms to review what we learned. We started today by understanding that discrimination against queer athletes is a true phenomenon. It is unfair to both queer and heterosexual players. It destroys any hope of goodwill, and it benefits no one. I want to live in a world where anyone, regardless of sexuality or gender, can step onto a field and play a game. But right now, humanity's ignorance has ruined something as simplistic and unifying as sports. And until we all fix ourselves as a society, we will continue to see queer players left behind. But not because of our lack of athletic ability, but because we have been giving their heterosexual counterparts the head start. And that's not equality. And it's time we all recognize sports are no longer just a game. Thank you.
Britton, I just want to say that it takes an incredible amount of bravery to get up and do that virtually, and then to do that in a crowded room on the 12th floor of a downtown building with everyone dressed up. And I just want to thank you for being here and doing this in person. Your parents must be incredibly proud. I know you play soccer, right? You play football? What sports do you play?
I'm on varsity cross country, track, and soccer.
Track, soccer, and cross country. Now, one question, very important. If you recognize this, help me ask the question, okay? 1, 2, 3. Do you play golf? Yeah, we're gonna ask you one more time. Do you play golf?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. This is the coveted golden putter from Congressman Roger Williams. We just got a fresh batch in. We wanted you to have the first one to remember this, that you always have friends here at the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Britton Major, thank you. Wow, that was something. All right. So let's see, let's go into some service here. Now, despite the pandemic, our commitment to service never wavered in the last 12 months. For example, 7 weeks ago, we had a group of 18 Rotarians that ran, walked, and perhaps crawled the Cowtown 5K marathon. And something rather unique, I want to share a story with you. Something rather unique happened at the very end of the race with our team. So in this picture you can see two of our very own Rotarians. You see Richard Knight in the middle and Wanda Bonder on the right. Now they're about to cross the finish line of the 5K. This was the very first 5K either one of them had ever run. And so they each thought, surely they were going to finish in last place. So at some point during the race, they actually started competing against one another for last place. And in the picture, it looks like they're joining hands in the spirit of solidarity and friendship. They're actually trying to push each other across the finish line. So we have the official results, and it turns out that Wanda finished in 57 minutes and 2 seconds. And Richard finished in 57 minutes and 3 seconds. I still don't know who won or lost to that race, but to certify the official results, please help me welcome to the stage the executive director, the head honcho of the Cowtown Marathon, Heidi Swartz.
So thank you, Carlo. Wanda and Richard, I've been doing this a long, long time, and I've seen lots of people try to win this race. I've never seen anybody try to lose it, so. So Richard, Carlo tells me you're a really nice guy, so it's my honor to present to you a trophy that says, "Nice guys finish last." Congratulations.
No speeches.
And Wanda, you tried your hardest to lose, and that's what truly matters. And so for your grit and tenacity during the Cowtown Marathon, I am awarding you with the Good Girls Finish First trophy. Congratulations. The only trophy I've ever won in my whole life. So the Cowtown thanks all of you for being a part of our event this past May. We were one of the only events in the United States that actually got to have an event take place in 2020 and in 2021. Our 2021 was a little bit delayed. It was only a fourth of what our normal participation is, but it got to happen. And it turns out we are the largest event to take place in the United States since the shutdown. So it's pretty exciting that we actually got to have it happen, and we thank you for being a part of it. What you may not know is what the Cowtown benefits, and all the proceeds from the Cowtown go towards our CAF program, stands for Children's Activities for Life and Fitness. So for the past 12 years, we've given over 43,000 financial grants, shoes, socks, and training to children in need in North Texas. So 43,000 children have gotten up and outside and running because you all helped by participating in our event, and all the proceeds go towards that. So we really appreciate you. And not only did Richard and Wanda receive an award today, but so did your team. So I am very happy to present your team, Captain Adrian Galvin, a first place award for the Open 5K team with the most finishers. And also, you all won second place for the Open 5K fastest team. Thank you. So thank you again for being a part of the Cowtown. We hope you'll join us next February. We'll be back again, 100% participation the last weekend in February in 2022. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Heidi, thanks so much for coming and doing that. That was a lot of fun. Thank you. You know, many of you might not know that Heidi has been with the Cowtown Marathon for 25 years and has grown it to become the largest multi-race event in the state of Texas. So one more time for Heidi Swartz. Thank you. Now, to help us recognize some club members who have gone way above and beyond the call of service above self, please help me welcome past presidents J.R. Labby, Jim Witten, and Fernando Costa for a very special presentation.
Thanks, President Carlo. While my buddies are coming up, just a clarification, the roast has been going on at our club for more than 50 years. It's just these knuckleheads that join me who've been doing it for 17 in a row. So that was us just putting up our spurs for a little while, not the club itself, but thank you. The highest honor the Rotary Club of Fort Worth presents to a member is the William B. Todd Service Above Self Award, established in 1962 to honor our club's 1940-41 president, and I will say the only club member ever to ascend to Rotary International Board service as a first vice president. This award recognizes outstanding and ongoing contributions to our club and our community. The honor is not presented every year. In fact, we have not given out a William B. Todd Award in 3 years. Nominations from members are accepted during the spring, and a committee of past presidents consider the nominees' qualifications. This year's committee consisted of Wayne Carson, Gary Cumby, Fernando Costa, Jim Witten, and yours truly. The individual or individuals to be honored are known only to the committee members, the current club president, and our club staff, until such time as they are presented. Today is such time. Fernando?
Thank you, JR. Our first honoree joined Rotary 41 years ago in 1980. This Rotarian is a Paul Harris Fellow and an O. Roy Stevenson Fellow who has served on the club's board of directors and through multiple rotations as our program chair. A successful CPA who has been honored by the UTA Department of Accounting with his Distinguished Alumnus Award. This Rotarian has served our community in many ways, including an interim assignment as Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Clubs. More recently, this Rotarian has served as the club's unofficial and uncompensated accountant during a financially challenging time. I can attest that this Rotarian's time, talent, and treasure were indispensable to restoring our club's financial health. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me via Zoom in celebrating our William B. Todd Service Above Self Award recipient, Mr. Mike Baylor.
Mike, you can't see it, but the room is a standing ovation for you, and we will be bringing your William B. Todd plaque to you probably this afternoon or when Gary gets back from wherever he is. So,
thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you for your service. Our second honoree joined Rotary in 1988. This Rotarian's community contributions are varied. Business owner, education specialist, community activist, parent of 9 children. This Rotarian was the first member of the Southside Businessmen's Association, and the name of the organization quickly changed to the historic Southside Association at the behest of this Rotarian. The group is known today as Near Southside, Inc. This Rotarian has been a leader for historic preservation, including saving Ryan Place and Fairmount from a misguided arterial street project that would have adversely affected both neighborhoods, relocating Interstate 30 to preserve the U.S. Post Office and other historic buildings along Lancaster, and forming the Berry Street Initiative, which sparked the revitalization of neighborhood commercial districts throughout Fort Worth, including Magnolia Avenue, now designated by the American Planning Association as one of America's great streets. This Rotarian fought for more than historic preservation, but also the preservation of civil rights at a time when that advocacy work was not popular in Fort Worth. It was so unpopular, in fact, that this Rotarian's children had police escorts to school because of the threats against the family. A constant and generous presence at Rotary meetings until the pandemic, this Rotarian has made a life's work of serving everyone in our community. And for this reason, we present the William B. Todd Service Above Self Award to Joan Klein.
Our third honoree joined our club in 1998. This Rotarian is both a Paul Harris and an O. Roy Stevenson Fellow. He has served on the club's board of directors twice. He has served as the club's treasurer. He has chaired the finance committee, and most recently he's been chair of the advisory committee. This Rotarian has been honored by the Modesto Rotary Club for helping them start a meeting sponsor program like the one he successfully run for us. This Rotarian participates in everything from our club's community volunteering events to our trips to Colorado. Last but not least, it is quite likely that if you joined our club after 1998 and before COVID, the motion to approve your membership was seconded by this Rotarian. No one, and I mean no one, says second the way this Rotarian says second. Please join me in honoring our William B. Todd Service Above Self Award, Tran Trong.
Well, thank you to our past presidents, and Mike, Joan, and Tran, thank you very much for all you've done for this club. So for a very long time, our club operated with 2 full-time staff members. And we had to eliminate the executive director position last year because of the challenges we were facing with COVID. And it left our club in a pretty precarious position, but there was one young lady, while only being paid for 40 hours per week, routinely worked 60 to 80 hours per week because the club needed it. When members were being a little difficult, she killed them with kindness, usually, sometimes, because the club needed it. And you probably don't know that her college degree and her decades of experience as an event planner makes everything seem absolutely seamless every Friday. She has grown to become like another sister to me, and I think we're trying to locate her because she's probably doing something the club needs right now behind the scenes. So there she is. Oh, Courtney, she's in here. You must see, she's so good. We don't even know she's here. So would you all please join me in giving the President's Award and expressing our love and eternal appreciation for our club administrator, Aurora Newberry. Someone we couldn't find you if you were counting people.
I was counting people over there. I don't really even know what to say, except thank you so much. And I'm really, really happy to be here. And I'm so happy to see all of you. And this has been an awesome year, even with Carlo. But so thank you so much. And I'm here if anybody needs anything. If you want to pay your dues.
Thank you, Aurora. We also have 3 board members who are rolling off this year. We have immediate past President Rachel Marker, Christy Eckler, and Wesley Gentle. I saw President Rachel. President Rachel is here. Please stand and be recognized, President Rachel. Where's Christy? Christy Eckler, everyone. Christy. Wesley was unable to be here, and I don't think he's with us on Zoom, but we just wanted to thank all of them for their hard work. And if you'll all help me, please, with Rachel's famous sign-off to our 3 outgoing board members, cheers, ciao, and hasta luego. Yes, absolutely. It's a hard H, hasta. And a massive thank you to our tech team who helped us when everything shut down, helped us figure out Zoom, and then helped us create an incredible hybrid experience that we've actually become a world model in how to produce hybrid events. So Nathan Schneidevant, Chris Jordan, and Tom Law, please help me thank our world-class team. Yes, Nathan. And there's one more important person that I would love to thank, because she's heard me talk about Rotary nonstop for 12 months. She has been this club's biggest cheerleader and continues to be the best thing that has ever happened to me. Dr. Rachel Capio, I could not have done this without you. Thank you so much. I love you. Now we can actually go out on Friday nights and I won't be too tired. You may recall a few months ago, we had a courageous conversation on building student leaders with empathy. This was a partnership between Trinity Valley School and the YWLA and some key stakeholders in the community. And as a direct result of that courageous conversation, we have, at this very moment, there are 10 students from the YWLA and 10 students from Trinity Valley who are spending 2 weeks together to share culture, to make friends, and to break stigma and stereotypes. And so we were going to go live to someone, I believe, who it's happening right now. So if you are part of that program, I see, here we are, Mrs. Bellazan. If you're there, Mrs. Bellazan, I'm gonna spotlight you. And Tom, if we can bring her over to the screen. I believe we have students live via satellite happening right now. And so folks, go ahead and take it away. Tell us what you're doing. And feel free to come. There you go.
I think so, yes. Good afternoon, I'm Ms. Bellazan, and yes, we have 3 students here to give you an update on where the program is and what we've been doing all week. And I'll let them start.
Well, I'm Burberry, and I'm Di, and I'm Ashton. So this is like the first week that we've been here. We've traveled downtown and like gone throughout the buildings and just Looked at all the little things there, and we had a nice lunch at Capitol Grill, thanks to Mr. McEwing. And then the second day, we had a DEI training, a diversity, equity, and inclusion training, which was it was really powerful, and I learned a lot from it. And then we also did like a challenge ropes course at Trinity Valley, which was really fun. And then the third day, we traveled on we went to the train station when we got on the train to Dallas, and we went to the Holocaust Museum. And then the fourth day, we talked to Mrs. Farmer, the CEO of DNSF, and we went to the stockyards and had a scavenger hunt. And then, and then today we talked to Miss Annette, who is the CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to go to the Tarrant County Food Bank today to volunteer.
Hearing particularly Miss Farmer and Miss Clajeros speak was really inspiring to us, as they're both like women CEOs in very established companies, and just hearing them talk about their experiences and listening to their advice was really inspiring to us, and I'm really glad we got the opportunity to speak with them.
Experience Fort Worth is very special to me, I think, because earlier in the week we were able to visit the highlights of Fort Worth, and now later in the week we're able to give back to our own community. So we get to see the highlights, and now we get to help out in our own community, which is very special and important.
Especially with the DEI training, just being able to put ourselves in other people's shoes and learning about other people's experiences, like within the community and within just our group. I've just definitely learned a lot, and I just hope to continue and still learn more throughout the week.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. We just want to say, how important it is to understand training on diversity, equity, inclusion. Thank you for giving up your summer, part of your summer, and thank you most of all for struggling through lunch at the Capitol Grill. I mean, really, we are so proud of you. Thank you. You are our first pilot program, and we hope that you set the bar for future generations of TBS and YWLA and other students and other schools to also partner for this important initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me thank our experienced Fort Worth team.
Thank you.
That was outstanding. And thank you to Dr. Michael Romer for helping turn that idea on paper into a reality. So you might remember another courageous conversation that was focused on supporting minority-owned businesses a few months ago here in this very room. And after that Friday program last year, it was Rotarian Chris Jordan who challenged us to think bigger, because anyone can talk about solutions, but it takes someone special to take action. So under his leadership, we created the Minority Business Awards competition that joined arms with all four corners of the community to recognize entrepreneurs of color who best demonstrated the four-way test. But by now, many of you know Chris he's the guy behind the camera. And you probably also know it is a tradition of Rotary clubs around the world to award the honor of a Paul Harris Fellow. This is a merit-based award given to someone who exemplifies the motto, service above self. And today we recognize someone whose selfless determination helped not just our club, but whose vision and eternal optimism led us to a defining moment for the Fort Worth business community and a galvanizing experience for our club. And now I will turn the microphone over to Luke Jordan. Luke?
Thank you, President Carlo. Howdy, my name is Luke Jordan. I am in fact not a Rotarian, so standing before you guys is really intimidating, but it's a huge honor to be in a room with so many great leaders, successful businessmen and women, and nonprofit leaders. The Rotarian that we're here to recognize today is someone I've known for a very long time. I call him Dad. and that is Chris Jordan. He's served on committees to create access to vocational training and partnerships with local communities, colleges, help set up improved speakers, microphones, and projectors to make Friday afternoons a little more enjoyable and effective. As Carla was talking about, the Minority Business Awards highlighting outstanding minority businesses in our community that make this such a great place to work and live and raise a family. However, his commitment to character is nothing new. And I know this because I've seen it my entire life, and not just between 8 and 5. For starters, Dad always recognized the value of investing in others. When I was in Cub Scouts in 2nd grade, he signed up immediately as the den leader, teaching us how to tie knots, build fires, and also how to uphold the values of the Scout law. Starting in middle school, for both me and my older brother, he would start a Bible study to teach us his values, but it included all of our friends. So it wasn't just about his children and his family, but he was committed to improving the lives of our whole community through one-on-one relationships and discipleship. The impact of doing a few things well over a long period of time greatly outweighs doing a whole bunch of things once or twice. Dad didn't just invest in us, like I said, but it was everyone. And he would put the same amount of passion and energy into those around us as he did his own family. Because he wasn't concerned about his legacy, but he was concerned about the community that we grew up in. Our dinner table was a special place, partly because my mom's a really good cook, but we also had really good conversations. We got beyond surface level, tell me about your day, and we talked about the business, how we would handle situations with employees, and just, we got a business education around the table, and he really cared what we thought. We talked about religion. We were challenged every night. I always caught my dad reading a book and sharing what he learned. His pursuit of wisdom and learning was something that has served him and those around him well. Dad was always saying 2 phrases that became nothing short of a motto in our family. Jordan's never quit, and character always wins. Whenever we felt like giving up or at a loss because we had been wronged by others, we would hear these phrases repeated to the point that we would hear them when he wasn't even there. True to form, when the pandemic hit, Dad didn't once consider packing things up and waiting for someone else to foster the community. He showed up with a camera and a way to stream Rotary to continue building Fort Worth. Fort Worth Rotary, in fact, grew in size over the last year with his help and continued impact. I've also had the joy of working with my dad over the last 10 years, and that has been one of the greatest joys of my life. He has been unselfish, always pouring into our employees and serving them first, creating an example of stewardship and servant leadership. It's rare that you get to see every side of a person for 30 years, but I've seen him as a father, as a husband, a business owner, philanthropist, church member, and friend. And I can vouch that nobody is more deserving of this award. It is my honor to announce that this Paul Harris Fellowship recognition to my dad, Chris Jordan. So I have an upgraded pin for you. Okay. And we've got a certificate with your recognition. Very nice. Can I say a few things?
I don't know that I can after that. But thank you all very much. This past year being involved with the Rotary Minority Business Award was really a special time. There's Sue. That's my wife, Sue, by the way. I don't have much to say, but what I'd really like to thank is the team that worked together for this Rotary Minority Business Award. You know, often compare it to getting your pants leg stuck in a pickup truck as it drives off. This thing just took off on its own, and everybody that was on the team that made this thing happen worked so hard. I think we could accomplish anything in the world. So thank you everybody on the team that did this, and being part of Rotary is just one of the most fun things I've ever been a part of. So thank you guys very much. And Luke, it's still really cool to be your dad.
If there are any more Jordan family members, please come forward now. It's only 3. I can't think of anyone more deserving, Chris, and thank you for your can-do attitude. And it's just been awesome watching you as a business leader and now a really, really good friend. All right, now on to the woman of the hour, the president-elect, Courtney Lewis. Now, something interesting, I had some fun with this. So something interesting that you might not know about Courtney is that she is really tight, really good friends with a TV star. So quick show of hands, how many of you have ever seen an episode of Pawn Stars on the History Channel? Anybody? Okay, so the guy in the middle of this picture is Rick. Actually, Courtney, you can sit. I got a few minutes. Go ahead and have a seat. It's not time yet. I'm squeezing every minute out of this president thing. That's all right, we're good. We'll make time for this one. So the guy in the middle of this picture is Rick Harrison, and this has become one of the most popular shows on the History Channel ever, right? And so actually, last year, Rick's daughter and Courtney's daughter went to the same school, but not only that, but they were roommates at LSU. And so Courtney, I invited Rick to come and see if he could be here today to see you installed as president. He was a little busy being a big TV star, so he couldn't come. But he did send me a few words of congratulations, which I'd like to read. That's okay. You know, better yet, how about if we hear from Rick Harrison himself? Rick, take it away.
Hey, everybody. Rick Harris here from Pawn Stars, and I want to congratulate Courtney Lewis on becoming the president of the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. This woman is absolutely amazing. She's a wonderful person. I wish her all the luck and success in the world. And we got something definitely in common. We had her daughter, my daughter, were roommates at LSU. Go Tigers. And I just want to say she's an amazing person. I've met her. She's absolutely great. I think she'll do an amazing job. And you know what, Courtney? You're absolutely great. And as a matter of fact, you know what? A bunch of people from the Rotary Club wanted me to have you appraised. Okay, so what I did was, you know, I got all the information from them. You know, got all my experts. You know, we all sat around a table. We discussed a lot, and turns out you're priceless. It's been a long time since I've seen you, and I hope to see you again. So anyway, once again, congratulations, and go Tigers.
Courtney, I am so proud of you. I cannot wait for you to take this club over for so many reasons. But I believe that people inherit certain positions. They come along right at the right time in the perfect place at the perfect moment. And that person is you, and this moment is now. So I am so looking forward to you. You're the perfect person. You are going to be fantastic. And we have a president-elect about to take over, Miss Sean Snell. And Sean, I got you too. So this club is going to be in great hands with you as the president-elect coming in after President-elect Courtney Lewis. And so there's someone who wants to wish you good luck in your new position too. Take it away.
Hey, Sean, Barclay Bourdain here. Just wanted to say congratulations on being president-elect of the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. As a member myself, I'm very proud of the fact that you are in line to take over as a leader, and I want to wish you a lot of luck and tell you anything we can do to help you as you approach your year as president. Please let us know. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Sean. I asked Sean what her favorite TV drama is, because, she works for Texas Health Resources, and she said ER. And Sean, I couldn't get George Clooney, so I tried hard. He was way too expensive. Now it is my honor to call up the past presidents of our club with us today to the front of the stage for our traditional pass the gavel, which really, folks, is a test to see if they remember what year they were president. And so what we'll do is we'll have them all line up. We're going to start with our longest tenured president. Yes, you can move the stanchion, and we can come up to the side, or Neva's going to put you in the right position. So I'm going to read them off. We have a handful of them with us, and so we are going to see how long this is going to take. You'll see some of them, they may not actually even remember being president, but they're standing up anyway. Take your time, folks. We got all day. We're good. There's plenty more champagne back there in case you're thirsty. So this has been a very long-standing tradition. And actually, the Rotary term ends for me on June 30th, and then Courtney takes over on July 1st to be the official president. So we have the gavel. If I could have some help, Rachel, could you help? Could you take the gavel? This is a key element into the passing of the gavel. Thank you. Our first few presidents couldn't be with us today. First president since 1988 was Kenneth Barr, Larry Eason, Gary Cumby, Mike Arrington, and we have with us Don Pearson, past President Don Pearson. Thank you for being here, Don. We have Pat Evans, David Keltner, our first female president in 1993, Dr. Judith Carrier. Yeah, you have to pass the gavel. Yes, Judge, pass the gavel. I know you don't like to give that you don't give that gavel easy, do you? After Dr. Judith Carrier, we have past President Jim Whitten. Jim Whitten, after Jim, we have Brian Garrison. We have past president with us, Bob Jameson. After that was David Branch, Pete Guerin, Jack Hove, Joe Smith, Bronson Davis. We have past President Zem Neal. And was Mac McLean. We have past President Mark Nurden. We have past President and former Roastmaster General J.R. Labby. Past President Fernando Costa. Then we had Doug White, Sid Johnson, Ames Fender, past President Bo Soderberg. Steve Eason, Tim Plasico, Wayne Carson, Doug Briley, past President Andy Taft. David Campbell, past President Larry Anfin. Past President Rachel Marker. And I've been waiting for 12 months to say this, but starting on July 1st, past President Carlo Capua. A hand for our past presidents. Thank you all for your service. Rotary history right here. Thank you all so much for being here. It means a lot to me and to our club. And so as President-elect Courtney Lewis now makes her way to the stage, here are some parting words, and we're going to put them up on the screen for you. And I think Opal Lee said them the best. 1 week ago, here in this room, she joined us via Zoom the day after she had been recognized at the White House by our President Biden. She said, I quote, "If people can be taught to hate, they can also be taught to love." And I couldn't think of a better message of hope and a snapshot of the world that can be going into your year, Courtney. So if you want to come up, Courtney, it is my pleasure to now pass the official president's pin to you. This pin has been in our club this actual pin has been in our club for a really long time. So in the immortal words, the inspirational words of J.R. Labby, she told me when I got the pin, is lose it and you're dead.
All right. Thank you, President. Now, past President Carlo. also have a pin for you today, and it is a pin that has been well earned, and it is a pin that you will wear proudly, as I've seen other past presidents. It is the Past President's Pin. All right, now, two final announcements. I look forward to leading and continuing the momentum that we have experienced in this last year. Next week, we have no meeting. Our be July